What happens when an undercover CEO trades his corner office for a delivery van and ends up discovering a cry for help no one else ever stopped to hear? The sun hadn't fully risen when Ethan Rhodes, founder and CEO of Freshcart Express, stepped into the cramped staff locker room of a regional delivery hub just outside Portland. He wore a plain grey hoodie, jeans, and an old baseball cap that shadowed most of his face. No one recognized him, and that's exactly how he wanted it. The company had grown fast. Too fast, maybe. With over 100 locations and nearly 1,000 contracted delivery drivers across the country, Ethan had built a grocery delivery empire from the ground up. But lately, the reports trickling up to corporate felt off. Low morale, complaints about scheduling, silence where there used to be gratitude. So for the first time in 5 years, Ethan left his office, tossed his suit, and signed up for a random regional ride-along under a fake name. Eric. No cameras, no announcement, just him, a clipboard, and a borrowed employee badge. At 6 a.m. sharp, he reported to the dispatch counter, where a tired shift manager handed him a phone, route sheet, and a neon vest. "You'll be riding with Jenna," he said, barely looking up. "She's reliable, doesn't complain." That's what worried Ethan the most. Jenna Cruz was already waiting by Van der Huanten 12 in the back lot, early 30s, hair pulled into a no-nonsense bun, sleeves pushed up on her jacket, and a quiet focus in her eyes that said she'd done this 100 times, and probably hadn't been thanked once. "First timer?" she asked as he approached. Ethan nodded. "That obvious?" She gave a tired smile. "You'll be fine. Just stay close. And keep up." For the next few hours, Ethan followed Jenna through her route, up hills, down icy steps, in and out of chaotic apartment buildings and sleepy cul-de-sacs. She carried every box with care, always knocked twice, always said, "Have a good day," even if no one opened the door. She never slowed down, but she never looked fully there either. Around 11:00 a.m. between deliveries, they pulled into a gas station to refuel. Jenna told him to stay in the van while she grabbed a bottle of water. 5 minutes passed. 10. Then Ethan saw her. She wasn't in the store. She was standing on the far side of the parking lot, alone, behind the delivery van, arms crossed tightly. Her back to the street. He got out quietly and stepped closer, and that's when he heard it. "I can't keep doing this." Her voice was quiet, fragile. "I'm so tired." She wasn't talking to anyone. She wasn't on the phone. She was just standing there, tears slipping down her cheek, speaking into the air like someone who had no one left to hear her. "I miss my son," she whispered. "I'm working doubles. I never see him. I just wanted to give him a better life." Ethan stopped in his tracks. He hadn't expected this. He thought maybe he'd catch someone slacking, a rude customer interaction, something fixable. But this was pain, and it had been happening in the shadows of his own company. Jenna wiped her face quickly and turned around, startled to see Eric standing nearby. "I'm sorry," she stammered. "I'm fine." "You don't have to be," he said quietly. She blinked at him. "I just needed a minute," she said. "Sometimes it gets heavy." He nodded. "I get it." "No, you don't," she said, harsher than she meant. Then her voice softened. "Sorry. That wasn't fair." Ethan looked at her for a long moment, something in his chest tightening. "Jenna," he said, his voice gentler than before. "When's the last time you took a day off?" She gave a sad smile. 3 weeks ago. But my kid got sick, so I didn't really rest." He nodded again, quietly taking it all in. She started walking back toward the van. "Come on. Still got a few stops left." Ethan followed silently, but his mind was racing. This wasn't a scheduling problem. This wasn't a numbers issue. This was something bigger, something personal, and he knew what he had to do next. The rest of the shift passed quietly. Jenna said little after the moment in the parking lot. She simply drove, delivered, and reset. Like the breakdown never happened. like she'd stuffed it deep inside with everything else. And Ethan, still, Eric, in her eyes, didn't push. But he saw it all. The way her hands trembled when she opened her water bottle. The way she forced a cheerful tone at the door, then let it drop the second it closed. How her eyes watered in the corners when they passed a school letting out and a child waved to a parent waiting on the curb. She didn't wave back. Ethan rode beside her, silent but alert, absorbing every detail, not just about Jenna, but about the system she was trapped in, the delivery app glitching, the impossible route times, the shift manager texting her about picking up an extra night, even though she hadn't had a full day off in weeks. And still, she worked. She didn't complain. She didn't cut corners. She just kept showing up, and it broke something inside him. By 3 p.m., they were back at the distribution hub. Jenna pulled into the back lot and started shutting down the van. "You did good," she said softly. "Most first-timers quit before lunch." Ethan smiled. "You made it easy." She snorted a tired laugh. "Nobody ever said that about me." He stepped out and stretched. "Hey, would it be okay if I walked with you inside?" Jenna gave him a look, curious. "Sure, but they'll just tell you to go home until the next shift." "Still," he said, "I'd like to." Inside, the atmosphere was tense. Ethan could feel it the second they walked in. Dispatchers looked up from behind their monitors. One whispered something to the other. Someone was watching. As Jenna logged their route tablet and returned her badge, a sharp voice called across the room. "Cruz, got a minute?" It was Marcus Dean, the regional shift manager. Late 40s, khakis, Bluetooth earpiece permanently clipped to his collar. The kind of boss who knew how to talk about teamwork in a meeting, but left the actual work to everyone else. Jenna turned, nerves kicking in. "Yes, sir." Marcus nodded toward his office. "Step inside." She hesitated. "Is everything okay?" "Won't take long." Ethan watched her follow him. Something was wrong. He could feel it. A few minutes passed, then 10, then 15. When the door opened again, Jenna stepped out, blinking rapidly, clutching a folded paper in her hand. Her face was pale. Ethan approached carefully. "Everything all right?" She tried to smile. Failed. "I got flagged," she said, voice tight. "Late deliveries, too many stops missed yesterday." "But you weren't late," Ethan said. "They say the system logged delays. Doesn't matter why, it's my name on the route." "What does the paper say?" Jenna looked down. "Final warning. One more infraction, and I'm suspended without pay." Ethan stared at her. "That's ridiculous." "It's normal," she said with a hollow laugh. "Normal here." She turned away quickly, heading for the exit. He followed. Once outside, Ethan pulled out his phone and made a single call. "Karen," he said calmly, "I need the head of HR and internal ops in my office tomorrow morning. Priority." "Yes, sir," his assistant said. "And pull every performance report for Marcus Dean. I want route audits for the past 90 days. Also, flag Jenna Cruz." "Flag her for what?" Karen asked. He looked toward the parking lot where Jenna was sitting on the curb, tying her sneaker tighter, even though it wasn't loose. Just something to do while she held back tears. "For recognition," Ethan said. "She's the only reason that hub hasn't fallen apart." That night, back in his own home, Ethan sat at his kitchen table, staring at the folded vest and badge on the counter. He hadn't expected to feel this broken. He hadn't expected to meet someone who reminded him of why he started this business in the first place. He opened his laptop and began typing. "To all regional managers, effective immediately, we are launching a top-down audit of driver treatment, scheduling practices, and disciplinary policies. Any retaliation, targeting, or unjust write-ups will be investigated. We are also implementing a new recognition program for frontline employees, those who show up, hold the line, and represent the soul of this company. Details coming soon. Ethan Rhodes, CEO, Freshcart Express." It was 3 days before Jenna Cruz saw Eric again. She'd taken one shift off, only one, despite what had happened with Marcus. She couldn't afford more than that. Her son needed medication, her rent was overdue, and even though she kept her head down, she knew her hours were being cut quietly. She could feel it. No more extra deliveries, no more early routes, just silence. And worse, whispers. That morning, she came in to find a new name added to the hub-wide roster. Ethan Rhodes, regional guest visitor. She stared at the name for a long moment. Something about it nagged her. The same name on the founder's plaque in the break room. The same name she'd heard once during a training video years ago. Before she could think more on it, the entire hub was called to an unexpected meeting in the delivery bay. Managers never did that, ever. When the staff assembled, drivers leaning against the vans and supervisors grumbling about lost time, Jenna saw him. Not Eric. Ethan. Same man, same eyes, same warm voice. But this time, he stood in front of them, wearing a collared shirt and a name tag that no one could mistake. She blinked hard. He looked at her briefly, just a glance, but it held everything. Then he turned to the group. I started Freshcart Express out of the back of a van, he began. No office, no employees, just me, trying to bring groceries to people who couldn't leave their homes. He let the silence settle. But lately, I've been hearing that somewhere along the way. We forgot what that felt like. He scanned the room. 3 days ago, I went undercover as a new driver at this hub. No title, no camera crew. Just me trying to see what you all deal with every single day. There was a murmur, but what I didn't expect to find was someone who reminded me what this company should still stand for. He turned slowly to face her. Jenna Cruz. Her heart stopped. She froze, like her feet had sunk into the concrete. This woman shows up every day. No matter the weather, no matter the schedule, no matter what life throws at her, she works with grace, with grit, and with a heart this company is lucky to have. She shook her head slightly, embarrassed. Please don't. But he stepped closer. You cried in a parking lot thinking no one saw you. But I did. I saw you. And more importantly, now, so will everyone else. He turned to the crowd. Jenna has been wrongly flagged, and I've already launched an investigation into the way performance reviews are being weaponized across this region. That ends today. There was a ripple of shock. Marcus, who stood stiffly in the back, suddenly looked pale. And one more thing, Ethan said. He pulled something from his pocket. A gold envelope. I'm creating a new internal award, the Foundation Award, for employees who represent the beating heart of Freshcart. Hard work, dedication, kindness. He handed it to her. You're the first recipient. Jenna looked at the envelope with shaking hands. What is this? A fully paid 2-week break, he said. Time to rest. Be with your son. And when you come back, you'll be starting as a training coordinator, helping us build better systems so no one gets treated the way you were. The crowd murmured again, this time not with disbelief, but with emotion. Someone clapped. Then another, and soon the room echoed with applause. Not the forced kind, not the polite kind. The kind that meant something had finally shifted. Later, as the crowd thinned out, and the vans rolled out one by one, Jenna sat on the back step of the office with the envelope in her lap. Ethan sat beside her quietly. You didn't have to do that, she said. He smiled. But I needed to. She nodded slowly. Thank you. No, he said, turning to her. Thank you. 2 weeks later, the Portland delivery hub didn't look that different on the outside. The vans still rolled in at sunrise. The clipboards still clacked. The same smell of overused coffee grounds still hung in the air. But something deeper had shifted. The tone, the energy, the people. And it all started with one moment in a quiet parking lot. Jenna Cruz returned from her 2-week paid break. Her first real rest in years, with a fresh uniform, a new badge, and a soft confidence she hadn't worn in a long time. Her son had smiled the entire weekend. She'd made it to his school assembly, cooked dinner every night, slept without setting an alarm. And now she wasn't just a driver. She was a voice, a training coordinator. Her job wasn't just to deliver groceries. It was to help shape a company that truly valued the people holding it up. When she stepped into the hub on her first day back, something stopped her. A bulletin board near the check-in desk had a new section. Frontline Voices. Posted there was a photo of her smiling, arms crossed beneath the caption, "She reminded us why we started this." Under it was a handwritten note from a newer driver she hadn't met yet. "I almost quit. Then I read your story. Thank you." Jenna stood still for a long time. Then she smiled. Meanwhile, across the country, Ethan Rhodes stood on a stage at the company's annual summit. Behind him glowed the words, "Rebuilding from the ground up." He spoke calmly. No script, no corporate fluff. "I went undercover thinking I'd fix a few things," he said. "But instead, I found someone who reminded me what we were supposed to be all along." He paused. Jenna didn't just change a route. She changed the road ahead. He stepped down to applause. But what mattered most wasn't the clapping. It was the message. Back in Portland, as the last van pulled out for the day, Jenna stood near the doors, watching the sunset bounce off the concrete. She breathed in. Clear. Calm. Seen. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because kindness deserves a spotlight, and someone out there is still waiting to be seen.